What's going on, everybody? It is the legendary LaShawn, and we have some breaking news. Well, kind of, sort of, not really breaking news. It took place yesterday evening, I believe. I don't use Twitter. I know that I probably should if I'm going to be in content creation. But my homie actually sent me the YouTube video for the this is going to be the last beta, and this is going to be an open beta. For a majority of the platforms for PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and PC, of course, doing all the crossplay and stuff. And this is going to be an open beta. So this is going to be the final test. This is going to be the big kahuna, the coup de grace, the final fight, if you will. Okay, all right, let me stop. But the thing that's actually striking me the most interesting, I guess in the most interesting way, and something that I'm I'm actually really concerned about is the PS4. They did confirm that this is going to be on PS4. This is going to be on a previous gen platform, the PlayStation 4. And let's set some context, right? Let's set some context as to why this has me worried. Like I said before, before my wonderful, wonderful wife gifted me with a PS5 and a TV for our second anniversary, playing on the PS4 was rough. It always felt like, and of course, if you don't know, the way that the PS4 was made, it was made in a way where it can't really take full advantage of like online capability. So like I have Fios, right? I got gigabit internet, fastest thing that I could get because, me and my wife both do gaming. And playing on PS4, playing online with a wired connection, things would still be slow. There would still be all these dropped frames. I would have dropped moved. It would be missing input, stuff like that. And then especially like when I would play against the PC players and everything else, it felt like they were just always able to react to everything. Like I couldn't tech stuff and I was having trouble teching stuff, but they were just always teching my grabs. No matter how good the setup was for it, it just seems like they were always ready. Now, to set a little bit of context, the interesting thing about this is it wasn't always that way. When when Street Fighter V first dropped, it was actually the PS4 players who had the advantage, and the PC players that kind of had to deal with really bad connectivity issues. Now, when Street Fighter V first came out, connectivity was bad all around. Like, not to kind of reopen that wound, but with one horrible online netcode. And just to be clear, not technically, Street Fighter V is rollback, but the rollback is not implemented very well. It's not catching up fast enough to kind of resync everything. It's taking too long, and sometimes it never really catches up, to be, completely honest. And so Street Fighter V was a huge mess. And it would be a situation where, for crossplay, a lot of PC players only wanted to play the PC players. They wouldn't want to play PS4 players because PS4 players, essentially had an advantage. And you add on to that 6 frames of input lag. And so it made a very toxic environment. The other problem was, the PS4, with the way that Sony built it, unfortunately, it wasn't built to fully harness the capabilities of gigabit connections and things like that. So for me, I have Verizon, right? I got their highest internet package because me and my wife both do gaming. We both have TVs that connect to the internet. We both using Hulu, Netflix, all this other stuff. So we got their gigabit internet, right? With the Fios, the fiber optics and stuff. But the problem is that, especially with the PS4, it can't take, or it has a problem harnessing all of that because of the cooling issue. Well, part of it was a cooling issue, but also because the internet capabilities just wasn't really built that way. And so now you have pretty much a double whammy where, your PS4 is not built to be able to perform the best with the best internet that you can get, pretty much. Because regardless of what anybody says, objectively, if you get your own equipment, like if you get the best modem, if you get the best, whatever, Verizon has the best internet. Like, objectively speaking, if you compare the megabits, the downloads and uploads and everything else, the fiber optics are better than Comcast and whoever, right? And to be honest, a lot of companies really use their towers and get, a good amount of their connections from Verizon. So it's like, if they are, even close to that, a lot of times it has to do with the fact that they're borrowing kind of like a tower, or like I forgot what the technical term is, but basically they're kind of borrowing internet, or they bought internet from Verizon. But the problem is that the PS4 can't handle all that. It just can't take it, essentially. So now you have that. You're having connectivity issues, right? And then, at least to me, I always felt like Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4, I like the way that the graphics in Ultra Street Fighter 4, and how it was in Ultra Street Fighter 4, man, I'm getting tongue-tied, way better than Street Fighter 5. I didn't like the fact that they look like claymation stuff, like the whole thing with Street Fighter 4 with that ink and everything. I think that looked way better, just my personal opinion. But regardless, you would be running this game that, again, to me didn't really all look that visually appealing, but yet and still your PS4 was sounding like I don't know, Spirit Airlines about to take off, like you were going to Jamaica. And you hear the pre-flight engines going, you hear your captain speaking. This is your captain speaking, we're getting ready to take off, so everybody please make sure your planes are in airplane mode. Like, I was sitting there playing Street Fighter, and I'm like, wait, where's the plane at? I don't remember buying any tickets. I don't have any frequent flyer miles. Where is it at? And lo and behold, it was my PS4. Just fan going crazy. Fan going complete sicko mode. Like, it was horrible. And literally, I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorite YouTubers / streamers, a guy named the Black Hokage, I'll try to link his channel as well. He always had this joke about PS4s. You could heat your entire apartment with a PS4, and I'm not gonna lie, he might have been right, because that joke was going crazy, right? And so that was always a really big problem for the PS4, was its connection issues, right? And so, setting that context for, where we are currently, when we had the first beta test and then they didn't do the PS4, I was like, okay, well, maybe they're, just trying to make sure that the new gen and everything is solid, so that, they can make sure that market is well taken care of, and then they'll go back and then see what's going on with the last gen, right? But that appears not to be the case. That is not the case at all. I looked all on, Twitter, and all on, Capcom's page and everything else. And no, the open beta is still not going to be available for the PS4. And now that really has me thinking, well, why, right? Because if there's anything that Street Fighter 5 taught me, it's that if Capcom has to put out a halfway finished or not finished product and then just work on it later, and if they can get away with it, then they will, right? The reception for Street Fighter 6 has been overwhelmingly positive, right? Overwhelmingly positive, because of a lot of different things. Because, and I think mainly it's because it clearly shows that they are listening to longtime fans of this series. And so, man, I really wish I didn't miss that combo. But, it's very clear they're listening to the fans, and that they're making this game with love and care, right? And a lot of people are really praising them for that. And so, do I think that Capcom would be like, alright, well, people are really loving this game, right? So, it's working on PS5, Xbox, and PC. The crossplay is working. I've seen video of people like starting out in a laggy match, and literally see it sync right back up to where they're good. And then in addition to that, if things aren't good, you can choose to bail out of that match. Now, of course, both players have to be on the same page with that, but they at least have that option. So again, they're listening to players that don't want to deal with these laggy connections. And if both players are like, hey, yo, I can't play this, you're in North America, I'm over here in the UK, Brazil, Japan, whatever else, it's just not syncing up. Let's just leave this be. Let's just go our separate ways, and maybe we could try to get on the arcade cabinet and maybe do some friendlies, but I don't want to lose my points, right? So they're listening to people. You know, so I don't think that they would just flat out be like, oh, well, we don't really care about PS4. It's not that big of a deal. What I do think that it could possibly be, because I have a sneaky suspicion that for online, and I'm talking about online only, that the PS4 will more than likely be discovering some issues. But that's the weird thing. And I can't really blame them if they were thinking this way, but this is just a what if scenario, right? Painting the picture. But what if, you know, instead of that, they're like, listen, this is literally the best fighting game that we have ever produced. This may be one of the best fighting games, like, ever, of all time, aside from, what, Street Fighter 2? Like, or, I mean, well, yeah, Street Fighter 2, or Ultra Street Fighter 4, or Super, or, you know, Street Fighter 4, or whatever else. This may be their very best game. They might be thinking, even if the online doesn't work, we made sure that we took care of all of the people, the casuals and everything else, because of World Tour mode. Alright, so if the online is not the best on release, and you're getting really frustrated, you're getting frustrated to the point where you don't want to play any of the online because you're so frustrated with how it is on the PS4, well, just go on World Tour, and then we'll fix it as soon as possible. I hope that's not the case. But if that is the case, the funny thing is, it's like I'm not really with that, because everybody's been wondering. Like I've heard people like Brian F. You know, what is it? People like, you know, the Black Hokage, and even Max, and people like you know, Punk and Smug and stuff like that. Everybody is wondering, like, okay, we understand that Sony has this thing with Capcom, apparently, right? We get it. But why do you need that on the PS4? Why do they absolutely need it? And, I mean, of course, the answer is very obvious, because why would you miss out on that market? Because, like I said, even if the online doesn't work the best for PS4, you have legit, like, strong single-player content. And let's say it's not something that's totally long, right? Let's say if World Tour only, like, maybe the quickest you can complete it if you don't do side missions, and if you don't try to get all the moves with all the different masters and stuff. Let's say that maybe you get maybe 15 hours out of it, right? Heck, even 10 hours. Well, just like I said, that means that there's times for you, or you have way more than enough time to be able to go back and to do multiple missions, to get multiple moves. And then, of course, I have a sneaky suspicion, even from the video that Max posted when he did kind of like his breakdown of what he played for World Tour mode, and he showed like some random Capcom guy superhero being at the top of the building. I have a sneaky suspicion that this game is going to kind of have the Elden Ring effect, where there's going to be plenty of people searching out, like, you know, where the famous Capcom characters are. Is there going to be Roll in the game? Is there going to be Mega Man in the game? Or Strider be somewhere in here? I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot of that as well. And again, this is just a theory. This is just a theory. But I do think that it is really weird that at the last beta, the open beta, the one that matters the most, you're talking about millions and millions of people being on those Capcom servers, using their IDs to cross-play with Xbox, PC, PS5. Why would you not be 100% sure that the PS4 version works? Now, I will end this video off on kind of a positive note. My homie in Jersey, real close friend of mine, he has a PS4. It's not a PS4 Pro, just a regular PS4. We were playing this game. You know, just the versus mode, the one-on-one, right? For whatever reason, whatever they did to this game, whatever the RE engine is doing, it doesn't sound like it's too taxing on the PS4. Like I said, when I play the when I play Street Fighter 5, PS4 was sounding like Spirit Airlines about to take off, you know. But for some reason, when playing Street Fighter 6, the fan was quiet as a church mouse. Like, literally didn't hear anything coming from there. All I heard was Hadouken, and oh my god, they did that from the commentator. That was literally it. So there's either two options here. Either the PS4, the online for it might not be the best. It might not be a complete dud, but it might be a little bit messy. Something where, you know, PS4 players are experiencing a lot of stuttering. Or somehow Capcom figured out a way to have these really cool looking graphics, really cool looking characters, and found a way to make it work, make the online work, where it's not going to be too taxing on the PS4. And you know, 100%, that's the outcome that I really hope is the case, but there's not really much of a way of telling for sure. So, you guys tell me what you think in the comments below. I wanted to say, too, thank you so much for the 32 views. I don't know if that's by people accidentally clicking on the video or whatever else, but I wanted to thank you guys for that. And then also leave comments. Like, I really want to engage with y'all. I really want to share in opinions with y'all. Tell me what y'all think. You know, tell me what you think of the video. If you think that it's crap, if you think that it's whack, then please let me know. What could I be doing better? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all you people later.